Are you struggling to grow your podcast and really connect with your audience? Do you wish you had some insider tips and strategies to take your show to the next level? Today, I'm sharing game-changing insights from a recent podcast intensive that I had just this week, and I'm sharing some really exciting news. If you're ready to transform your podcasting journey, this episode's for you. These quick-cast episodes are designed so that you can dive right into the world of social media, what's happening right now, trends that are working, and strategies that we're seeing success with. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to this week's Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast episode. I'm so excited to share with you that I just wrapped up my podcast intensive. It was supposed to be earlier in June, but I had to end up moving it to this week. It's at the end of June, and I had to move it because jury duty, wah, wah. But hey, we ended up having a great group of people who have a current podcast, and they were wanting to learn how to actually look at metrics and not just have a podcast just to say that they had a podcast. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the key takeaways from the podcast intensive with you so that if you have a podcast or if you've been wanting to start one, well, hey, you have a little bit of a head start here. And plus, I have some big news to share with all of you. Let's get started. So one of the most important discussions that we had during the intensive was about understanding your audience. We spent a lot of time figuring out who our audience is because knowing who your listeners are and what they want is crucial for growing your podcast. So we talked all about creating detailed listener personas, which really help you tailor your content to meet your needs. One of the biggest things I tell so many people is that when I was doing so many of those podcast audits for the past few months, it shocked me to discover how many people didn't know who their listeners are. Now, I have a pretty solid understanding of who my listeners for Rocky Mountain Marketing are. And if you're creating content that you think people want to hear about, well, then you're kind of wasting your time. Not you kind of, you are wasting your time, and time is valuable. Having a podcast is an incredible tool for your business. But if you're not actually creating content that's going to drive business, well, then it's just an expensive hobby. So we talked all about creating that detailed listener persona, and it helps you to create content that's going to be meeting your listeners' needs. And if you haven't done this yet, take some time to map out who your ideal listeners are. What are their interests? What problems do they need solving? The better that you know your audience, the more effectively you can create content that resonates with them. Next, we talked about crafting engaging content, and it's not just about what you say, but how you say it. We talked about exploring different episode formats and structures. So, looking to see what you've currently done and what's worked, what has the most downloads, what hasn't worked, and focusing on how to keep your listeners hooked from start to finish. One of the key takeaways is to always start your podcast with a strong hook. For those of you that heard the quick 5 to 10-second intro that I did here, it's all about having a hook that says to the listener, hey, that's for me. You want to grab attention right away. And we also discussed the importance of having a content calendar. Planning your episodes in advance helps ensure consistency, which is the most important thing of having a podcast, the consistency. And it allows you to align your content with your audience interests and needs. We all want to have more listeners, right? And growing your audience is a challenge that so many podcasters face. During the intensive, we shared some different effective growth strategies. One is making it as easy as possible for your guests to share your episode. If you're getting guests on that maybe they don't have a huge social media following, maybe they're not the Amy Porterfields or the Molly Mahoney's or the Gary V's, whatever. Maybe they don't have a huge following, but they are willing to share the episode with their network. So make it as easy as possible for them to share your episode. The other tip was to try and get people that do have those large followings, the people that are being searched on Google. Because if they search for that person on Google, then your podcast episode could show up. And don't forget about SEO. Optimizing your podcast show titles, your descriptions, your show notes, it can make a huge difference in discoverability. Staying productive and focused while managing all of these aspects of podcasting can be tough. And one thing that really helped me is a little productivity drink called Magic Mind. It's packed with ingredients like mushroom neuroptics and adaptogens that help focus mental clarity. With all of the planning and strategizing we did during the intensive, Magic Mind was a lifesaver. If you're interested in checking Magic Mind out, go to magicmind.com and use the code Rocky Mountain 20 for 20% off your first order. It helped keep me sharp and energized. Obviously, it's crucial when you're working on growing your podcast. We also talked about different monetization strategies, which is something every podcaster is curious about. How can we actually make money from this podcast? Because a lot of people launch a podcast and they're like, I want to be the next Joe Rogan. And holy cow, wouldn't we all? I would, or the Mr. Beast, whatever. He's not a podcaster, but he's a YouTuber. I mean, like, we all would like to make money from the time that we're putting out creating this content. And there's several ways to monetize your podcast, from sponsorships, which is what I think most people think of is the sponsorship element when we talk about monetization, is sponsorships and ads. But you can also monetize by having premium content. And one effective approach is to build a strong and engaged audience first. So brands are more likely to sponsor podcasts with loyal and active listeners. We also talked about creating additional content or services that your audience would be willing to pay for, like an online course, a workshop, or exclusive episodes. Think about what unique value you can offer to your listeners and how you can monetize that. And now for the exciting news. I am so excited to announce that I'm going to be launching a podcast membership. This membership is going to give you ongoing support, exclusive resources, and a community for podcasters looking to grow and succeed with their podcast. So podcasters just like you. Members are going to get access to monthly webinars, Q&A sessions, and a library full of templates and guides and courses. It really is the perfect next step for anyone who not only just attended the intensive, but for new podcasters really looking to take what they've spent so much time working on to the next step. So I'm creating a space where you can continue to learn and grow and connect with, like I said, other like-minded podcasters just like you. Launching this intensive was something that so many people asked me about. I've had a lot of people reach out in the past for help with their podcast, ideas with podcasting. And man, it took all of 2023 with Molly Mahoney in my ear saying, Katie, you need to do something with podcasting for me to finally do it. And it's been a blast to work on. I've seen my own podcast grow tremendously since I really focused in on teaching others with their podcast, because I get to try new things and say, hey, what about this? Would this work? And it's worked really well. So I'm really excited to launch this next arm of Next Step Social with this podcast membership. We have the intensive, we're doing podcast production, we do social media production and strategy, and all of it has been a huge accumulation to this membership. So I really hope you'll check it out. I will include a link in the show notes. Feel free to get on the wait list for the podcast membership. You can sign up to be on the wait list for the membership. It's going to be launching very, very soon. It's at katiebrinkley.live/membership. Again, katiebrinkley.live/membership. Check it out, and would love to have you in this community of podcasters, because podcasting is an incredible tool. It helps your social media tremendously. When you have a podcast, if you're creating longer form content like this, you're going to be unstoppable with searchability online, and you're going to have a ton of content to share. The whole 4-post strategy works amazingly with having a podcast or a YouTube channel. So sign up, katiebrinkley.live/membership. I can't wait to have you there. And I hope that you found these insights helpful for your podcasting journey. Remember, understanding your audience, creating engaging content. Nobody cares if it's a new episode. That's not engaging social media content. When you're doing the 4-post strategy, you're creating content that people want to see show up in their feed. If you're creating this engaging content and implementing effective growth and monetization strategies for your podcast, that is the key to success right there. If you're interested in joining my new podcast membership, go to katiebrinkley.live/membership to get on the wait list. More details are going to be coming soon. Keep creating. Keep at it. One of the biggest things with podcasting is pod fade. Don't be a victim to pod fade. Stick with it. Stay consistent. Make your unique voice heard. Keep creating. Keep innovating. And keep recording your incredible journeys and sharing your voice with the world. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.